Welcome to another edition of Tundra Talk. I'm Brandon Rooker along with Aaron Wagner, and we are talking the NFC North Draft 2011. We're going to start with the Minnesota Vikings with the first pick. Not the first pick. In the first round, 12th pick overall, the Minnesota Vikings selected Christian Ponder, quarterback from Florida State. In the second round, pick 43 overall, they took Kyle Rudolph, a tight end from Notre Dame. They pick in the fourth round at 106, fifth round at 150, sixth round at 172 and 200, seventh round at 215 and 236, and that's it. Aaron, what do you think about the Vikings draft so far?
It's hard to say. The picks they kind of make sense, but they don't. At 12, to take Christian Ponder, who was a second rounder at best. I know they were trying to trade back at the time, but it just seems like they panicked and they said, Christian Ponder is our best quarterback on the board, and we need a quarterback. That's who we take.
Right.
I think it's a very panicky move that they made. And then in the second round to take a tight end, I mean, he's a good player. You already have a good tight end in Visanthe Shenko.
Exactly.
And I think there's a couple other needs that they need to address instead of tight end.
I think you give them too much credit. Ponder, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, if I'm a Vikings fan, I think I'm still staring at my TV, just wondering what's going on here. And I'm thankful I have the Twins to cheer for, because I don't think you're going to be winning many football games for a while. It makes no sense, and it's not that I don't like the Ponder pick. I just don't think you should take a guy 12th overall that's going to be there when you pick 43, or, maybe, I don't think he'd be there at 106 in the fourth round, but...
No.
But I mean, still, it's a guy that at worst you could trade up into the 30s.
Exactly.
You don't have to take him 12th overall. I mean, there are plenty of talented players on the board that Minnesota could have used. As a Packers fan, I'm thrilled, because you look at it and you go, wow, the Vikings screwed this up again. And Rudolph in the second round, I mean, it's not a bad pick. It's a solid pick. It's not a great pick, but it's a solid pick. I wouldn't be so mad if I was the Vikings on that one, but I look at the Ponder pick and I'm like, wow.
Just continuing on the Ponder value, you look in the second round where some more quarterbacks started going.
Yeah.
35, Cincinnati took Andy Dalton. 36, San Francisco traded up to get Colin Kaepernick, quarterback in Nevada.
Both of which I would have ranked before Ponder.
Yeah. And even if, I mean, Minnesota's picking 43rd, so they were 8 picks behind.
Yeah.
They still could have traded up a couple picks. It's just very mind-boggling in my opinion.
It's stupid.
It just makes no sense.
And you watch, Ponder would probably be some Pro Bowl quarterback, because we're sitting here bashing him right now.
No, I have confidence that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Overall, what would you give their grade overall so far in the draft?
I hate to do it. Part of me wants to give him an F, but I will have to give him. I'll give him a D plus, because Ponder, he's not a bad player. Don't get me wrong.
It's just not top 12.
It's not the right pick. That hurts. Rudolph is a quality player, but I don't know. It's hard not to look past that factor.
Yeah, I agree. I give him a D minus. And the only reason they got a D minus is because Rudolph's at least a decent pick. I think Ponder's a stupid pick there. Anyway, we're going to move on to a team that actually, on the other side of the token, is having a really nice draft. That's the Detroit Lions. Detroit picked 13th in the first round. They took Nick Fairley, a defensive tackle from Auburn. They picked 44th overall in the second round. They took Titus Young, a wide receiver from Boise State, a guy that Aaron personally really liked. And I liked him too, but not quite as much as Aaron did. And then they also traded back into the second round, and they took Mikel LaShore, a running back out of Illinois, with the 57th overall draft pick, a guy that I actually really like, really high on. And then they only have two draft picks remaining in the draft, 5th round, 157, and 7th, 209. Aaron, what do you think about the Lions draft?
To be honest, I think the first pick in the first round, Nick Fairley, fell into their laps.
Yeah.
There's no way they're sitting there thinking Nick Fairley.
Right.
If anything, I was a little surprised, even though Nick Fairley was sitting there, that they didn't go corner. But with Nick Fairley, you think about that. That's a scary front line with him, Sue, Vandenbosch. It's going to be hard to run on, but the only concern is their pass defense.
Yeah.
And then you go continuing on. You got Titus Young, good receiver out of Boise State. It'll take a lot of pressure off Calvin Johnson, hopefully.
Right.
And then you got another running back, Mikel LaShore, running back out of Illinois. And like you said, a 1-2 punch with Javid Best. It's kind of scary. And the Vikings are early favorites to finish last, and
yeah,
it's tough to figure because Packers, Lions, and Bears. I think they're all pretty much equally content for that division.
And the thing is too is I heard one expert say this, and I very much agree with them. The Lions maybe are not filling needs that they need, but they're taking parts that they have strength in already and maybe making them some of the best units in the league. Their defensive line now is going to be studly. You look at a guy in Sue last year who had double-digit sacks in the NFL. Fairley had 13 sacks at Auburn last year, and I'm not saying he's going to do that in the NFL, but you potentially have 2 defensive tackles who get 10 sacks apiece. That's not something that's usual. I mean, and that's impressive right there. Titus Young, good receiver. LaShore is going to give you a nice 1-2, like Aaron said, a nice 1-2 running back punch. That's really nice. I think they're an up and coming team. Made themselves a lot better. The only problem is they only have 2 draft picks left. But if those 3 guys hit the way they think they're gonna be those players. Good enough of a draft. Good draft. I've given them an A right now. Aaron, do you have a grade for them?
I give them an A. I might go. I'm leaning towards an A-, B+, only because their 2 biggest needs, offensive tackle and corner, they didn't address. I mean, sure, they can address it later just to add depth. That's the only thing preventing them from a perfect grade. So, I mean, but it's still a very good draft, along with they're probably one of the top 5 drafts so far, I would have to say.
Yeah.
Throughout the first 3 rounds here.
I would agree. All right, moving on. Chicago, the team that Green Bay put down in the NFC title game. Just like throw that out there because we still basking in the glory of that a little bit. First round, pick 29. This one stings a little bit, folks. They took Gabe Carimi, offensive tackle out of Wisconsin. Second round, pick 53 overall. They took Stephen Pea. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. If you're ever watching this, Stephen Pea, I apologize.
It's Pea, but
Pea.
Yeah, we'll say whatever.
Yes, Stephen. They took Stephen, defensive tackle from Oregon State. Very good pick. I mean, if my stats are right, this guy did 49 reps on the bench.
Yep, that's correct.
Whew. Okay. Third round, they picked 93rd overall. They took Chris Conti, defensive back from California. And they have 2 more picks remaining. 5th round, 160 overall, and 6th round, 195 overall. Aaron, what do you think about the Bears draft?
I think it's just like the line. I think it's very good. Their biggest need was an offensive tackle to protect Cutler because he got banged up too much last year, and they beat Carimi, who I don't think the Bears thought he'd slide that far. He didn't slide too far, but
a bit
of a surprise that
low
he
to
was
mid
there.
20s range. And took him, yeah.
And then
I was thinking Green Bay, so I was kind of hoping to get him, but yeah, I mean, good.
Yeah. And then with Stephen Pea, he replaces Tommy Harris, their longtime nose tackle, and I think it doesn't. It may improve them a little bit, but it doesn't make them weaker in the defense.
Right.
It just keeps their defense going. And then the safety out of California, Chris Conte, a little bit of a reach, but I just have a feeling Lovie Smith and his guys know what they're doing, just judging talent and stuff. So I have confidence in their picks.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think and it kind of hurts me to say it as a Packer fan, but I think Chicago's underrated in the way they put that team together. I think they get a lot of crap, obviously, for Cutler and a lot of things.
Deservedly so sometimes. You have to admit that.
Sometimes. Yeah, and I do. But overall, this is a good team, and they're a team that on paper, Aaron and I were talking about this before. On paper, you look at it, and you look and you're like, wow, we match up here. We're gonna go on the road to these guys. But then when you actually play them, they scratch and claw, and they win a lot of close games, and the games they lose, they're usually right in it. So I give this team a lot of credit, and I think this is another gutsy draft. There are no sexy picks for the Bears right here. Nothing that you look at and you're going to go, wow. But, there's a lot of guys that just make that team better, keep them where they are. I like the draft of the Bears so far. All right, well, with all the other teams out of the way, we can actually finally talk about the team that we find most intriguing, most important. Aaron, which team would this be?
I don't know.
What is that? What logo is that?
The Green Bay
The
Packers.
Green Bay Packers. Yeah, it's our team. That's right. All right. Well, first round, pick 32. The Green Bay Packers selected Derek Sherrod, an offensive tackle from Mississippi State. Big boy, 6'5", 321 pounds. Special notes to mention, playing the SEC, obviously with Mississippi State. Has not allowed a sack in 2 seasons.
pretty good.
Aaron, what do you think about this guy? You like the pick?
I love it. You know, at the moment, Daquan Bowers is available, and I was kind of rooting for him. Another pass rusher. You can just, I mean, you get that video game thinking of him and Clay Owens coming at the quarterback.
Yeah.
But when I look at it, I think a good replacement for Clifton. Tauscher went down this year. Bulaga stepped up. You know, if we didn't have Bulaga, there's no way we go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think if Clifton goes down, he's a good replacement. Clifton's getting up their name, so I think it's a great pick for now and for the future.
Yeah, like Aaron, I was absolutely hoping for Daquan Bowers. I'll admit that, and I'll admit last night I was extremely angry when they didn't pick Daquan Bowers. Yeah. But after giving a little time to kind of, let it go, I was kind of like, okay, he's not a bad player. And I'd also like to take this moment to coin the phrase "Boo Derek," which is the Packers tackles for the next decade. Boo is in Bulaga, and then Derek is in Derek Sherrod. So if that ever catches on, it starts here. Just saying. Anyway, I really like the pick, and I think it's good. I don't know if it's really going to affect the team much this year, but that's okay. I mean, you're protecting Rodgers for the next decade. Anyway, second, 64th overall, Green Bay took Randall Cobb, a wide receiver out of Kentucky. Aaron, what do you think about Randall Cobb?
Randall Cobb, when he had that pick, I was actually kind of rooting for Randall Cobb to be drafted because you have uncertainty of James Jones is going to be there. Driver's getting older, and he takes care of that punt return and kick return game as well. And like most of the guys, Ted Thompson drafts, classy kid, mature, smart football player. I think he's a Green Bay Packer.
Yeah,
when you think of him.
I agree. I think he's a very good receiver. A solid guy. Definitely do not get worse, and he could be a kick returner, which Ron Williams getting obviously a much more major role.
Yeah,
you could take him off. Third pick, 96th overall, Green Bay took Alex Green, a halfback from Hawaii. Aaron and I differ a little bit on this pick, how we feel about it, but it's surprising, very surprising. The guy who's ranked on a lot of our staff's fifth round to free agent. Green Bay took him in the third, but you know what? Trust Teddy. He has hardware to prove his general manager abilities. So, Aaron, what do you think about the pick?
Initially, I was, when they were making the pick, there are a couple of players we wanted, and then I had a gut feeling it was going to be a player that we don't. Thompson surprises us in running back, and we have Grant, Starks, Jackson's a free agent, Kuhn can play running back, but when you look at it, Grant is 29, he'll be 30 at the end of the year, he'll be a free agent, and you don't know how his knee's going to hold up. Starks, while he did play good, he has been known to be a little injury prone as well.
Yep.
So I think just a big bag. I mean, he'll help a lot. He's a good pass catcher.
Yeah.
And I'm going to appreciate the pick a lot more.
Yeah.
So good pick by Teddy Thompson. So. And
I'm like Aaron, and I totally get why Aaron felt this way. I'm surprised I didn't, but my gut feeling was I love this guy. 6 foot 225, baller. God, in the 2010 season, he had 146 attempts for 1,199 yards. That's an 8.2 yard average. Oh, and by the way, he scored 18 touchdowns. Plus, he caught, I believe it was 16 or 27 passes. Anyway, point is, he caught some passes. He had a 13-yard average through the air. I think this guy might be a project a little bit, and I don't know if he's going to show up day one and be a stud. But
I'll actually say the opposite. I think he'll be ready from day one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think he has the potential. Whether or not he shows up right away with it or not, I think he can be very good. So anyway, I think that's good. Just to round out here, Green Bay picks twice in the fourth round, 129 and 131. Fifth round, they have the 163rd pick. Sixth round, they pick 197th. In the seventh round, they pick 204th and 233rd. So we will talk about later what they're probably going to do.
Yeah, we just have a minute left. I'm just going to add one quick thought. I think the difference between, you look at the Vikings didn't make that good picks. The Lions and Bears did, but I think the one difference between the Packers and even the Bears and Lions is the Bears and Lions, they only have 2 picks the rest of the way, right?
Yeah.
And Packers have 5, right? 6.
6 picks.
6 picks.
And with Teddy working his magic like that, I mean, it's very possible he could do it.
6 picks, he'll get quality guys that can fill the depth chart, and that's what Ted likes to do, and hopefully he'll be able to sign some undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
So
typical Teddy Thompson. We want to thank you for watching this edition of Thunder Talk, and please join us next time when we talk about what's going to happen tomorrow in the NFL draft in rounds 4 through 7. Have a good night.